Let me switch it up a little for that.
Hi everyone, I'm Carrie with the Green Cups. I'm here today to let you guys know that I'm back. I'm going to be talking about a lot of things that are more human, more controversial, hopefully not too controversial, but things that has happened. I'm going to go with my personal experiences and try to share it with you to see how relatable they are, and hopefully you guys can comment, let me know how you feel. Now, I will start off by saying I am far from perfect. I I'm only human, but I know that I'm made up of different parts, but I know I'm not perfect. One thing my dad would always say to me is people are made up of different parts. And a lot of time as human, we dwell on the one that we're not fully developed in. And we make that make us as a whole. And that shouldn't be, because out of the parts, it's only one that we might be defective in or something that we need to work on more. There, by saying this, I break it down where I know my defective parts and I know my positive. So I'll go ahead by saying my positive. I'm very caring. I'm loving. I am very determined. I'm a hard worker. I love people. I love family. I I believe in God, higher power, and I really push to see people succeed. I really like to see it, and I push for that. Now my negative, you swallow hard. My negative, I can say that I'm a control freak. I like things a certain way, and I can explain. I like that because I know where I've been, and I know where I don't want to go back to. So I'm kind of more controlling of a situation to avoid going back down to that situation. And I also don't like confrontation. Like if I express something that I dislike over and over, I don't like to have to say it again, or I don't want someone to try to take it for granted and take. I feel like I'm being taken for. I don't like to be taken for granted, and that will cause me to get upset. And when I get upset, I get upset, and that scares a lot of people. So, being that I said that, I know I'm not for everyone, and I if and I don't try to be for everyone. If you guys like me, you support me. If you don't, I appreciate it. But as friends, I know me and I know my qualities. So I want my friends to know me too. But at the end of the day, I'm never mean, and I never try to get back at anyone. I also feel like people. Let me ask: have any one of you ever had or been somewhere and they know that they shouldn't be, or meet someone and know that something about that person that doesn't sit right with them? I normally call that the spirit of discernment. So I feel like I have the spirit of discernment, and I feel like I also ignore that spirit more than than I should. And I can tell you one experience when I did that. That was when I was in the military, and there was some people that I met, and it was something about them that just didn't sit right with me. And I don't know what it was, and I was just wondering. I started questioning myself. I started saying, I don't want to be around them. And then when I start questioning myself, I start questioning, like, why am I being this way? And of course, now the thought of me being a Christian, I'm there like, I'm so judgmental. These people didn't do me anything. What's wrong with me? I need to go get to know them and stop being so judgmental. I convinced myself that I should be friends with them. And I end up doing that, and I realized what that spirit was trying to tell me in the end. And I realized that yes, there is such thing called a spirit. Jamaicans always call it the spirit na tetnam. And that's something that you have to live with. And what I do want to explain, everyone is not for everyone. So whereas you and I will get along, you might not get along with my friend. And that's something that I want to explain. So I had a very good friend who wanted me to get to know their friends. And the friend was trying to let me know that their friends are like family, so they would like for me to really get to know them. And I said, okay, and I tried really hard to be friends with them, reach out, things like that. I reached out to one, and I reached out to a couple, but only one responded. And eventually I was like, well, I'll go with the one. The one is better than none. And I brought them into my circle. We were, engaging and things like that. And then I came to find out that the friend would often say, "What's wrong with you? There's nothing wrong with you. Like, why, what were they saying? What they're saying don't even make any sense. And I was wondering, why would the person keep saying that? Because it would be almost all the time the person would say it. So I questioned this, like, what are you talking about? And they'll slip things here and there. And eventually I would find out that they had a group, the friends that I was supposed to get to know had a group where they discussed me. And yes, she was part of the group, but she claimed that she was trying to defend me, to them and let them know that, hey, I'm this and I'm that. But it was interesting. I would go back to the main friend now, let the main friend know, like, hey, these people don't like me. They have a group, and I would let them know. And the main friend would ignore what I say, like, didn't really respond to it, never really try to find out what it is, never asked them about it, just left it alone. So then I came to find out that it was to the point where they were really, really like not wanting to be my friend. Then I guess they eventually, after one main blow up, where I had girls' night out, and it went to a huge blow up around December time, and they decided not to really put my name in it. But before that, I used to see screenshots. Everybody was involved with talking about me. And even the friend who was bringing the news to me, she let me know that, yeah, I was part of it. Okay. So me trying to look at the positive side, that's my French friend who wants me to get to know them. And I brought it up again, and I let the main friend know, like, they have a group. This is what they say. I saw screenshots, blah, blah, blah. You know that later on, they brought it up. I brought it up again when we had another outing or event, and they were invited. And, they turned it down, and I brought it up to my friend, and my friend claimed that they spoke to the next person about it, and it ended up being where this thing went back a year, and it was over something that my main friend was talking about me to them about. So it ended up being like they disliked me from things that my main friend was saying to them. So my main friend was bringing up stuff negatively about me to them. So it ended up being an issue to them that they didn't want to be friends with me. And that was a huge thing. So when I try to talk to my main friend decided to ignore me, did not want to talk to me, haven't spoken to me in 3 days, didn't want to have anything to do with what I had to say. And then so I wrote a nice little note stating that I will no longer try to be their friends and no longer try to reach out. This is how it's going to be, and you know what, you keep your friend group. And I was okay. I was contented with it. What I didn't like is that the next day, they, instead of just being like, you know what, we're sorry, this is it, they made it a whole big he said, she said. They're calling, they're just throwing the other friend who infiltrated. Guess what? The friend who was my friend, who decided to be friends with me out of me reaching, she was supposed to be my friend so that she can bring that news to them. So like it was a whole big thing. And yes, she came forth and told me what she, her side of it. But everybody wanted to do it. He said, she said, everybody said, including the main friend. The main friend wouldn't talk to me at all, but would be talking and gossiping to the other people in the group. That's why I realized that the whole time the main friend was part of it, that was all talking bad about me. So the whole time it was that main friend, and then with the other friends. So you got to realize that one, the main friend took me off guard, but the other friends, it is what it is. And you realize, who are for you, and you also realize that God always going to show, what goes on in the dark is going to come out in the light. So God is going to show you the light. And, it is what it is. And you know what? I'm thankful for that. I've never had a negative bone where I'll sit there and destroy you as a person or destroy the character that you are. And I'm glad that I know me as a person. I know what I'm built with. I know what God has put me through. So of course there's going to be things about me. Again, I'm not for everyone, but if you're going to see me and see me shine, and if that's going to rub you the wrong way, you don't have to be for me or try to be my friend, or, and it is what it is. I accept you. That's all I have to say is like, I accept you. I accept you for who you are. But I'm glad that one thing that I would always pray for is to God to give me a pure heart. And the reason why I feel like I pray for that is because I feel like no matter how much darkness is around you, when you have a pure heart, you're always going to shine bright. And I appreciate that. And I'm here for a reason, and I'm happy that I know my truth and I know who I am as a person. And I have to say, like, everybody's going to go through some issues, If you don't, more power to you. But hey, I gave you a little bit of information. So I'm going to conclude today by just saying, know your truth, be you, and accept both your positive and negative flaw. Because when everything makes up who you are as a person, they're not going to think, oh, she's just great, and not think about the negative. It's just that your negative is part of you too. So as a whole, you are beautiful, and walk in your truth. Love you. Have a good day. What's in my cup stays in my